Flying bicycles? UFOs? Fly with a fighter jet under the city? Yeah, get to know these and many other awesome things when we show you these 50 amazing secrets of Grand Theft Auto 5.
Super players.
And what better way to start than with the first mission of the game, also known as the prologue. This mission was designed to teach you how the game works, how the weapons work, how the vehicles are driven, and also how the change between the three main characters in the story and, of course, this prologue also has its secret. If you deviate a bit from the road and drive over this frozen river, under the bridge you are going to find something quite strange. An alien! A totally frozen alien! What a disturbing fact! How on earth did this alien get there? We also wonder if we can remove it, unfreeze it, and revive it. These are our questions that will never be answered. So far, 4 UFOs have been found in GTA 5, and 3 of them require you to have the game 100% completed. Get a helicopter and go to this location on the map. Hang around there and you will realize that a flying saucer will appear out of nowhere. If you try to get too close, you will see how the camera starts to get damaged and you will see some errors with your image. Likewise, if you try to get close to the flying saucer, you will see how your character bounces all over the place. The other UFO can be seen in a very high part of Mount Chiliad, specifically in this location on the map. To be able to see it, make sure that the weather is cloudy, or that it is raining and that it is also 3 in the morning. The third flying saucer can be seen flying over Fort Zancudo, Los Santos Airport, which is located in this location on the map. This flying saucer flies very, very high and makes quite a scary sound. The last flying saucer is underwater, and this is the only one that does not require you to have the game 100% complete. If you want to appreciate it much better, I can recommend that you look for a submarine and go to this place on the map. Apparently, this UFO has been underwater for a long time, since it is totally full of algae and is one of the most mysterious in the game. And if you've ever been curious to know what's inside these UFOs, then today is your lucky day. Running the game on PC, some players have been able to approach this ship and learn details that were not supposed to be seen. For example, check out how detailed this ship is at the bottom. But what surprises us the most is that on the inside, Rockstar put a lot of effort into something that no one was supposed to see. But the scariest thing is that inside this ship, there are not 2 aliens piloting, instead, there are 2 humans being in a rather strange suit. GTA 5 is full of references to previous games in the franchise, such as GTA San Andreas. In that game, there was a gang war between the group's Grove Street families dressed in green against the Ballas who were dressed in purple. But the most interesting thing is that in GTA 5, you can go to the original location of GTA San Andreas and relive the old days. And you will confirm that the war between the greens and the purples seems to never end. When GTA 5 was released for PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, a collector's version was available. This edition brings many additional things that the normal version of the game did not bring. The most relevant of all has to be this map. But this map is not the traditional map that the franchise always brings inside the game case. That's because if you illuminate this map with an ultraviolet light, you will be able to find a lot of annotations and secrets and details that cannot be seen with the naked eye. Halo is one of the largest franchises in the video game industry, and of course GTA 5 pays a little tribute to it in the game. If you go to the Vinewood Walk of Fame, you will meet some quite colorful characters. One of them is Republican Space Ranger, a pretty obvious reference to the Halo franchise and its main character, Master Chief. Does it seem true? And there are not only references to things in the world of video games, there's also references to things in real life. If you go to this location, you may find yourself in a rather pleasant surprise. Although at first glance it seems like another one of the many mansions in this game, this one specifically refers to the Hugh Hefner Playboy Mansion. This mansion is always partying. It always has a lot of people and, of course, a lot of women. We also have the world-famous Gordo at its poolside and half-naked women, which we are not going to show you so they don't demonetize this video. If you go to the mountains of Mount Gordo after 10 o'clock at night, you will hear very mysterious voices, and if you stay until midnight, you'll be able to see the ghost of Jolene Kraylene Evans, who was killed by her own husband when thrown off this cliff. Her husband was arrested by the police but later released because they did not have enough evidence to detain him. That is why we still see the ghost of Jolene with the text Jock, which is her husband's name written in blood. And continuing with the references to other games in the GTA franchise, if you go to this specific house, you will find a very interesting surprise. Pay close attention to the location of this house on the map, since at first glance it doesn't seem like it has anything special. Just 2 or 3 peasants who want to fight you. Finish with them so you can focus on this table. On top of it, there is a wanted sign, so take your cell phone's camera and enlarge it so you can appreciate in greater detail that it is a reference to Niko Bellic, the protagonist of GTA 4. Have you ever been curious to see what's inside the police station? Surely you have approached the door and you get annoyed because you see that it is closed, right? But if you go to this specific location and take a vehicle, you can make a move that glitches the game and cause it to have a small error that will allow you to enter the police station. And no, this time you will not be in prison. Once inside the police station, you can walk and explore it all without getting a single star. And using a fairly similar method, you can access other places that you are not supposed to. For example, if you jump between these 2 walls, you will be able to enter this building under construction, and although there is nothing particularly interesting inside this building, it is an excellent place to snipe, do a little camping, and maybe do a little trolling in the online multiplayer. Something that many people are unaware of is that in all airports there is a building that you can enter, even though it has a door that says it is a restricted area. Inside this building, you can find more people, soda machines, and you can even go up to the roof of the airport to have a better view of everything. And how about this glitch that allows you to walk through the bushes to surprise your friends and your enemies? From here, you can shoot and do everything and nobody will notice. It cannot be done in all the bushes, only in these specific ones, but once you are inside, you can do a lot of things without anyone noticing where you are. Something that many people also do not know is that you can find a giant military aircraft carrier. This aircraft carrier is offshore, specifically at this location, but the coolest thing of all is that you can enter inside the aircraft carrier, and you will realize that it is immense, just like in real life. It has planes below, planes above, helicopters. It's highly detailed like everything Rockstar does. Are you looking for a place to hide and that no one can find you? How about this cave in the mountains? It seems like there is nothing special there, but it is literally a cave that you can enter and hide in. You can find it in this location on the map. It is a fairly large cave with enough space for both you and your friends to barricade themselves from the police. And if that cave seems small to you, how about this super mega cave full of water? This mega cave can be found in this location in the sea. This place is perfect to plan your next attack or just to have a great party with your friends. And speaking of secret places, did you know that there is a mine in Grand Theft Auto 5? At first glance, it seems like it cannot be accessed, but if you go to this location on the map and carry some explosives and drift the door, you will be able to realize that you can enter and, in fact, it is a quite large mine. And not only big, but also very detailed, full of things, and you can find the occasional mysterious corpse lying around. Take a helicopter and go to Mount Chiliad, specifically on this side of the mountain. In this location on the map, you will be able to realize that there is something quite interesting. It's a drawing on the wall that represents a… well, maybe you can figure it out by yourself. The Bermuda Triangle is a real-world location that is also represented in Grand Theft Auto 5. Supposedly, in this location, many ships and many planes have been lost, and in that same way it behaves in the game. If you walk in this area, it is very likely that quite random things will happen to you, such as your vehicle being damaged, being returned to shore, and even missing things from your inventory. And if you go underwater, you will find that there are a lot of planes and ships that have been wrecked in this same area. And since we are underwater, how about this corpse of a murdered woman tied to the concrete on her feet? Who is this woman? Why was she murdered? What is it doing underwater? It is one of the most interesting mysteries of Grand Theft Auto 5. This is the first Grand Theft Auto that allows you to spray gasoline on things and set them on fire. However, this game is so detailed that many people are unaware that you can shoot fuel tanks and they will also drop gasoline. And the most interesting thing is that each vehicle was programmed with a gas tank in a different place, just as it works in real life. It is so detailed that if you drive a vehicle that is spilling gasoline, it will eventually stop moving. And if you accelerate a vehicle that shoots fire from the exhaust, you can also set the gasoline on fire. That's how much detail exists in this awesome game that Rockstar has created. You can use your mobile phone in the game to call a lot of numbers. For example, if you dial 1999-367-3767, you are going to create an explosion in the sky. Seriously, this will make everyone run out of the place. This is one of the funniest tricks that you can do in different places in the game just to see how the crowds react. But that's not all. There are more numbers you can dial. For example, if you dial 1999-8294, you will find a rather peculiar sound. Just wait for it to sound several times and you will hear a sound that will take you back in time. Tell me in the comments if you know what this sound refers to. For me, what differentiates Rockstar from other video game creators is the level of detail that they put into each thing. For example, notice how the clothes get wet as the water touches them. Likewise, leaving the tracks wet wherever you walk. And the level of detail is so crazy that if you stay in the sun, you will see how your clothes get soaked with sweat. Wow! Surely you did not know that Grand Theft Auto 5 has a tidal system. That's right, you can check it if you stay for a long time on a shore and you will see how the tide rises and falls, just as it does in real life. The epic level of detail of this game can also be appreciated with the vehicles. Did you know that the dashboard gauges in cars works like in real life? They not only mark the speed, but also the temperature of the engine. If the engine of the vehicle you drive is faulty, it is very likely that it has an oil leak, and that can also be shown on the dashboard. And if you keep driving, it continues to show you more warning lights as it would in real life. And obviously, if you still continue to keep driving, your vehicle will catch fire and eventually stop working until it explodes. How fun, right? The way things are destroyed in Grand Theft Auto 5 is just incredible. Take a look, for example, as the glass on this vehicle breaks. Each blow leaves marks on the windshield, specifically at the site of impact, until it eventually shatters in quite a convincing manner. To have a game the size and scale of Grand Theft Auto 5 at this level of detail is absolutely incredible. And not only the vehicles, there are other objects that also have good destruction animations. You didn't realize that if you wear sunglasses with tinted lenses, the world around you changes color just as it would in real life. So try different combinations, and when you switch the camera to first person, you will see the world change color in front of you. If you walk along a mountain path, you may not have realized that some rocks have physical properties. You can shoot or collide with a vehicle and see how they react to the impact. And obviously, if this rock has enough momentum and collides with someone, it will end up knocking them down. Did you know that if you find a cat in GTA 5 and shoot near it, it will jump like a cat would in real life? Give it a try and see how cool this animation is. But don't kill the kitten, okay? Didn't you realize that the puddles of water in Grand Theft Auto 5 eventually evaporate? If you stay in the same place and continue watching the puddle, you will notice how it dries up little by little. Wow! And how about this glitch to fly through the air with your vehicle? Find a house that has an electric door like this one, position your vehicle this way, and keep accelerating while the door closes until the next thing happens, boom! This works with any vehicle, but if you go with a hydraulic suspension vehicle, it is much easier to get it done. A very fun trick to see how high you can go. What is the most epic way to go down a mountain in Grand Theft Auto 5? With a vehicle? Walking? No, real super players surf on the hood of a vehicle. It takes a bit of practice, but once you get it working, it's one of the funnest things you can do in this game. The coolest thing of all is that you can reach a lot of speed if you do it in the right place. It's not necessarily the easiest way to go downhill, I wouldn't say it's the most practical either, but it's definitely the most epic way to get down a mountain. And speaking of random epic things, if you use a helicopter to take a vehicle to this tank, you are going to get a surprise. Go to this location on the map and you will realize that you will be able to run through the walls with your vehicle in an extremely fast way. Plus, it looks really epic when you put the camera at another angle. And if you turn a little bit to the side, you're going to be able to take your vehicle out by throwing it up in the air, which makes it even more fun. And continuing with throwing things into the air, you really don't need a vehicle to run over people. If you walk or run towards someone and press the jump button, you'll see that you can knock them down and make them fall. It is also a way to appreciate how well the physics work in this game, since everything looks extremely real. Also, it is my preferred way to meet girls in real life, so yeah, there's that. If you are on the road and you find a truck like this one, there is an extremely epic trick you can do. Get on top of the vehicle, and when it has a lot of speed, jump to the back and you will see how the vehicle makes an amazing flip. They weren't expecting this one, right? But even more epic is flying with a bicycle. If you jump off a mountain at a specific angle, you can make your bike fly through the skies just like in the E.T. movie. Imagine the faces of your friends when they see you flying through the skies on a bicycle. GTA 5 is a game that looks incredible, but even more so if you play it on PC, since there are mods and texture packs that make the game look like something totally different. Not only can you play it in 4K, but you can also implement modern technologies such as ray tracing, which makes this game seem like it's running on a new generation from the future, and since we suspect it will be a long time before we get GTA 6, this is a way to see more or less what a new Grand Theft Auto would look like. If you go to this plane, to this specific store, and fly this way, you are going to be able to cause a pretty cool error in the game. You will be able to put your plane under the map and see GTA 5 as you have never seen it before. The coolest thing is that your plane will continue to work perfectly, and when you get tired of being under the map, you will be able to leave without any problem. And continuing with more errors in the game, if you turn a beach umbrella and place it at this angle, you will be able to make it launch characters through the skies. And not only can you launch yourself, but you can also launch someone else, which makes it even more epic. The artificial intelligence in Grand Theft Auto 5 is generally quite good, but if you cross a bus on a highway like this, you will be able to see how a lot of vehicles are falling to their final destination one after another, after another, after another. It does not matter the size or type of vehicle, they all follow the same destruction path. Wow! Near the beach, there are several stores that sell many different things, but if you pay attention, you will notice that one of these vendors has a very particular shirt. A red t-shirt with the main character from Red Dead Redemption. And this is not the only reference to this game. If you go home, you will realize that one of the book is called Red Dead, and that the author is J. Marston, in reference to John Marston. During the 19th century in Scotland, the story of Greyfriars Bobby became famous. It's about a small dog that lasted more than 14 years visiting his master's grave until he could not take it anymore and lost his life. Grand Theft Auto 5 has a tribute to this story, so F in the comments for the little cute dog who's still waiting for his master. Surely you already knew that if you shoot at the window of a vehicle, it will break and leave many pieces of glass on the ground, right? But what many people have not realized is that if you walk around the vehicle, you can hear the pieces of glass breaking at your feet. If you move away, you will stop hearing them. But if you get closer, there is the sound again. Amazing level of detail. Grand Theft Auto 5 has always been one of the most played games and one of the most watched games too, but it has recently renewed its popularity on the internet due to a phenomenon known as roleplay. Roleplay is a mix between gameplay, streaming, and acting in which the players act as if they were one of the characters in the game. This has led to a new wave of content where people act like cops or robbers, portray events from real life, and even make full-on drama series. And yes, although you can roleplay in other games, Grand Theft Auto 5 is still the king of roleplay. It is not known how or when or where it all started, but in Grand Theft Auto 5 there is a quite particular phenomenon where people disguise themselves as aliens and compete with each other. It's obviously a reference to the gang warfare between the Groove Street families who are green and the Ballas who are in purple. But Grand Theft Auto online servers are filling up with these colorful costumes, and it's absolutely insane. Of course, there are certain rules. Once you choose the color of your gang, you can no longer use weapons. You must fight with your hands or with a bat. This is quite a special phenomenon that we can all be a part of and have fun choosing our gang and making disasters out there. So choose your color quite well, choose your gang well, and when you see the colored aliens making disasters out there, now you know what all this is due to. Definitely one of the funniest and most epic things in Grand Theft Auto 5. So tell me in the comments if you are a green gang or a purple gang, and see you on our next video.
Super players.